Goodness, 9 o'clock. This evening for supper, we had soup, fish, cold ham and mashed potatoes, and a good English salad. We had English beer to drink. The children drank English water. We had a very good meal this evening, and that is because we are English, because we live in the suburb of London, and because our name is Smith. Potatoes are very nice with cold ham. The mayonnaise was quite fresh. The mayonnaise from the grocer's round the corner is much better quality than the mayonnaise from the grocer's opposite. It's even better quality than the mayonnaise from the grocer's at the bottom of the hill. Not to say that his mayonnaise is bad, yet the fact still remains that the mayonnaise from the grocer's round the corner is just the best. Mary did the potatoes very well, for once. I only like them done when they're done nicely. The fish was nice and fresh. It makes my mouth water to think of it. I took 2 helpings, no, 3, and it always gives me the collywobbles. You took 3 helpings too, but the 3rd time you took less than the first 2 times. How did that come about? You don't usually suffer from a lack of appetite. Did you see our little boy at table? How he couldn't take his eyes off the glass? He did so want to drink some English beer. He'll be fond of a glass or 2 when he's older. He takes after you, dear. Did you see him at table? He couldn't take his eyes off the glass. So I picked up a bottle of water and poured it out for him. He drank it because he was thirsty. Helen's a good little housewife, very economical, and she plays the piano. She would never be asked to be allowed to drink English beer. Neither would our youngest, who only lives on bread and milk. Anyone can tell she's only 2 years old. Her name is... Peggy! The elderberry tart was excellent. Perhaps for dessert we should have a glass or 2 of Australian burgundy. I did not put the wine on the table as to not set the children a bad example. We must not bring them up to be wild and extravagant.
Well! It says here, Bobby Watson's dead.
Good heavens! Poor fellow. When did it happen?
What are you looking so surprised about? You knew perfectly well he was dead. He died about 2 years ago, it must be. You remember, we went to the funeral. About 18 months it must be.
I remember perfectly, but I failed to understand why you had to look so surprised to see it in the paper.
It wasn't in the paper. It must be 3 years ago since there was word of his passing. I was reminded of it by an association of ideas.
What a shame it was. He was so very well... preserved.
He made the best-looking corpse in Great Britain, and he never looked his age. Poor old Bobby. He's been dead for 4 years and he's still warm. A living corpse, if there ever was one.
When were they thinking of getting married, the 2 of them?
Next spring at the latest.
We can't possibly get out of going to their wedding.
We shall have to get them a wedding present. I wonder what.
Why shouldn't we give them the silver trays we were given when we were first married, which haven't been the slightest use to us? It's sad for her to have been widowed so young.
Lucky they didn't have any children.
Oh, children! That would have been too much. What on earth would she have done with them?
What do you mean? She's still a young woman. She may quite well marry again. Anyway, mourning suits her extremely well.
They have a boy and a girl, you know. What do they call them?
Bobby and Bobby, like their parents. Bobby Watson's uncle, old Bobby Watson, has pots of money, and he's always been very fond of the boy. He may quite well take over Bobby's education.
Yes, it's what one would expect. And in the same way, Bobby Watson's aunt, old Bobby Watson, could very easily take over the education of Bobby Watson, the daughter of Bobby Watson. And if that happened, Bobby, the mother of Bobby Watson, could very easily marry again. She only one in view.
You can't expect me to know everything. I can't answer all your silly questions.
You said that just to upset me.
You know perfectly well I didn't.
Oh, you men are all alike. There you sit all day long with a cigarette in your mouth, making up your face with lipstick and powder 50 times a day. That's if you can take the time off from drinking.
I'd like to know what you say if men carry on as women do. Smoking all day long, sticking powder and lipstick all over your faces and gulping down whiskey.
You can say what you like. I don't care. But if you're saying that just to get my goat, well, I don't like that kind of joke. You know perfectly well I don't.
Why are you spitting feathers like that, my little roast chicken? You know I only said it for fun. Oh, what a ridiculous couple of old lovebirds we are. Come on, let's turn the lights out and go bye-byes.
I'm the maid. I just spent a very pleasant afternoon. I went to take pictures with a man and saw a film with some women. After we came out the cinema, we drank some brandy and some milk, and afterwards read the newspaper.
I hope you spent a pleasant afternoon. I hope you went to the pictures with the man and drank some brandy and some milk.
And the newspaper?
Your guests, Mr. and Mrs. Martin, are waiting for you at the door. They're too afraid to come in on their own. They're supposed to be dining with you this evening.
Ah, yes. We were expecting them, and we were hungry. As they showed no sign of turning up, we went and dined without them. We'd had nothing to eat all day long. You shouldn't have gone off like that, Mary. But you gave me your permission!
We didn't do it on purpose!
Bought myself a chamber pot.
Dear little Mary, would you be so kind as to open the door for Mr. and Mrs. Martin, and we'll go get dressed quickly.
By being so terribly late. You must arrive punctually. Understand? You might as well sit down now that you're here.
I beg your pardon, madam, but it seems to me, if I'm not mistaken, that I have met you somewhere before.
It seems to me too, sir, that I have met you somewhere before.
Could it possibly be that I caught sight of you in the city of Manchester, dear madam?
That is quite possible, sir, since I come from the city of Manchester. But I cannot say whether or not I've caught sight of you there.
How very extraordinary! And what a strange coincidence. I too come from the city of Manchester.
How very extraordinary.
I left the city of Manchester 5 weeks ago precisely.
How very extraordinary. How very amazing. And what a strange coincidence. I too left the city of Manchester 5 weeks ago precisely.
I caught the train that leaves Manchester at 8:30 a.m. and arrives in London at 4:45 p.m. exactly, dear madam.
How very extraordinary. What an amazing coincidence. I caught the very same train too, sir.
Goodness gracious, how very extraordinary. Then, dear lady, perhaps it's possible that we met on the same train?
It's not impossible. It's not out of the question. It's even plausible. And after all, why not? But I have absolutely no recollection of it, sir.
I have no recollection of it either. However, it's very possible we met each other on that occasion.
What you say is true, sir, but I'm not at all sure about it.
I was sat in carriage number 8, the 6th compartment.
How very extraordinary. I sat in seat 6th compartment. The 9th compartment as well, sir.
How very extraordinary. And what a strange coincidence. Could we have met in the 6th compartment, dear madame?
It's not impossible. It's not out of the question. It's even plausible. But I'm not at all sure about it.
I was sat in seat number 3, dear lady, next to the window.
How very extraordinary. I had seat number 5 right opposite you, sir.
How very extraordinary. And what a strange coincidence. Then we were sat in the same compartment, in the seats right opposite each other.
What you say is true, but I'm really not at all sure about it.
Since I arrived in London, I've been living in Broomfield Street.
How very extraordinary. What a strange coincidence. I too have been living in Broomfield Street, sir.
How very extraordinary. But then, could it be that we met in Broomfield Street, dear madame?
It's possible, but I'm not at all sure about it.
Dear madame, I live at number 19.
How very extraordinary. What an amazing coincidence. I too live in number 19, sir.
But then, could it be that we've been living in the same house?
That's possible, sir. And it's an amazing coincidence, but I'm not at all sure about it.
I live on the 5th floor, flat number 8, dear lady.
How very extraordinary. What a strange coincidence. I too live on floor number 5, the 8th flat, sir.
How very extraordinary. How amazing. You know, in my bedroom, there is a bed. And on that bed is a green eiderdown. And that bedroom, with its bed and its green eiderdown, is down the corridor, in between the library and the water closet, dear lady.
How very extraordinary, how very amazing. In my bedroom too, there's a bed, and on the bed, there's a green eiderdown. And it is at the end of the corridor, between the water closet and the library, sir.
How very extraordinary. And what an amazing coincidence. Then we've been living in the same room and sleeping in the same bed. Dear lady.
It's possible that is where we have met, and perhaps even last night. But I'm not at all sure about it.
Dear lady, I have a daughter. She is 2 years old, and she has one red eye and one white eye. She has fair hair. She is very pretty. And her name is Alice Tilley.
How very extraordinary. I too have a daughter. She's fair. She's one red eye and one white eye. She's very small. She's 2 years old. She's very pretty. And the name is Alice too, sir.
How very extraordinary. And what an amazing coincidence. Then there can be no mistake. Is she one and the same, dear lady?
What you say is true, sir. But I'm not at all sure about it.
I think there can be no mistake. You are my very own wife. Elizabeth, I found you again.
Donald, darling, it's really you.
Good at that. Sleep there.
Elizabeth and Donald are now far too happy to be able to hear me, so I can tell you a secret. Elizabeth is not Elizabeth, and Donald is not Donald, and I'll prove it to you. The child that Donald talked of is not Elizabeth's little girl, not the same child at all. Donald's little girl has one red eye and one white eye, just like Elizabeth's little girl. Whereas it's the right eye of Donald's little girl that's red and the left eye that's white. It's the left eye of Elizabeth's little girl that's red and the right eye that's white. Consequently, the whole fabric of Donald's argumentation falls to the ground when it encounters this final obstacle, which annihilates his entire theory. In spite of the extraordinary coincidence, which would appear incontrovertible evidence of the contrary, that Donald and Elizabeth are not the parents of the same child. They are not, in fact, Donald and Elizabeth. Donald may well believe he is Donald. Elizabeth may well think she's Elizabeth. Donald may well believe her to be Elizabeth. Elizabeth may well think him to be Donald. They're both grievously deceived. But who is the real Donald? Which is the real Elizabeth? Who could possibly be interested in prolonging this misunderstanding? I haven't the slightest idea. Let us make no attempt to find out. Let us leave things strictly alone. My real name is Sherlock Holmes.
Keeping you waiting for so long, we thought we ought to pay you the honours you have the right to expect as soon as we heard that you'd be kind enough to give us the pleasure of coming to see us without announcing your intended visit. We went in a hurry to go put on our glad rags.
We haven't eaten anything all day! We've been waiting for you for 4 hours! Why are you so late?
Oh, really?
I think we must all have cold.
It's not cold weather, though!
There are no drafts.
Oh no, rather not.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear!
What's the problem?
He can't control himself when he's bored stiff. Oh, you shouldn't at your age.
Age doesn't count where the heart's concerned.
Is that true?
That's what they say. They say the contrary is true too.
The truth lies between the two.
That's true too.
You two are always travelling around. After all, you ought to have some interesting stories to tell us.
Tell them what you saw today.
Oh no, Ken, they'd never believe me.
You don't think we doubt your word?
said them if you make them think.
Well then, today I witnessed the most extraordinary incident. It was absolutely incredible.
Oh, someone's going to make us laugh!
Tell them quickly!
Well, as I was going up to the market to buy some vegetables, which are still going up and up in price.
When enough is
Oh, shut up! Naughty girl!
Tell them what the gentleman was doing!
Well, I know you say that I'm making it up, but I saw a gentleman respectably dressed and around 50 years old, or perhaps less, who was...
Who was what?
Who was what?
Shut up, my dear! It's disgraceful of you!
You interrupted first, skunk. Well, he was outside the restaurant and he was kneeling on the ground and leaning forward.
Oh,
Yes,
it can't be
leaning
true.
forward. It
Can't be true.
Yes, leaning forward he was. I went right up to him to see what he was doing.
What?
His shoelaces had come undone and he was tying them up.
Oh my God!
Fantastic.
Oh my God! If I'd heard it from anyone else, I'd never believed it.
Why not? For example, today in the town, stranger things go happen. I was in the underground station where I saw a gentleman sitting there, larger as life, calmly reading a newspaper.
What an odd character.
Perhaps it was the same gentleman. Listen, there's a ring at the door.
There must be someone there. I'll go see. Nobody?
I'll give you another example.
Listen, there's a ring at the door.
There must be someone there. I'll go see. Nobody? You were going to give us another example?
Oh yes!
Listen, there's a ring at the door. There must be someone there.
I'm not going to open the door again.
What do you mean? But there's a ring at the door.
First time, there was nobody there, nor the second time either. What makes you think there'll be somebody there this time?
Because there was a ring at the door.
That's no reason.
Take myself. When I go to someone's house, I ring the door so that someone can go and answer it. I should say everyone does the same thing, so that when you hear a ring at the door, it's because there is someone there.
Yes, that's all right in theory, but in practice, things don't turn out that way at all. Did you see what just happened? Your wife is perfectly right.
Trust you, woman, to stick together!
All right, I will go see. I will not have you calling me pig-headed, but you will see there will be nobody there. What did I tell you? Nobody. Oh, these men, they're so sure they're in the right, but they're always in the wrong.
Listen, there's a ring at the door.
Don't go sending me to answer the door again. You've seen, it's not a bit of use. When you hear a ring at the door, that means there is never anybody there. Never.
I'm quite sure it isn't. When you hear a ring at the door, it's because there is somebody there.
There isn't!
There is.
I tell you, there isn't! Anyway, if you want to go look for yourself.
I jolly well shall. And you'll see. There'll be somebody there! It's the captain of the fire brigade. Good day, all! Good day, Miss Smith. You look as if something had upset you.
Oh?
You see, it's just that. My wife is rather put out by being proven in the wrong.
My dear sir, there's been a slight argument between Mr. Smith and Mrs. Smith.
It's none of your business!
Eh.
Let outsiders get mixed up in our family quarrels.
It's now the captain's an old friend of the family. I used to know his father, and his mother came courting me once. His father asked my daughter's hand in marriage, if I ever should have one. But he died too soon.
It's not his fault. Nor yours either.
Tell me then, what the was this argument about?
Well, my husband claimed...
Oh no, you hit it on the claiming!
It was she!
It was he!
No. Don't all get so excited. You tell me all about it, Miss Smith.
All right then. I feel very embarrassed having to talk to you so frankly, but I guess a fireman is somewhat of a parson too.
Come along now.
My husband said that when there's a ring at the door, there's always somebody there. And I said that when there's a ring at the door, there's never anybody there.
Well, I'll show you how to straighten things out. You see, really, you're both right. When there's a ring at the door, sometimes it means that there's someone there, and sometimes it means that there's no one there.
Seems logical to me.
To me too.
Everything's very simple, really. Come on now, kiss and make up.
But we kissed and made up only a few moments ago.
They could kiss and make up tomorrow. They have all the time in the world.
Now you've just helped us put all that right. Please sit down and take off your helmet a moment.
I'm very sorry, but I can't stay very long. I'd be glad to take off my helmet, but I really haven't the time to sit down. I must admit, I came on a rather different matter. I came on duty.
Oh, please tell us what we can do to help you.
I'm terribly sorry, but I must ask if you'd be so kind as to be willing to excuse my being a trifle indiscreet. May I perhaps in front of them?
Oh, please, don't mind us.
We're very good friends. They tell us everything.
Well, then here goes. Have you by any chance a fire in the house?
Why would you ask that?
It's because I really do beg your pardon, but I've orders to extinguish all the fires in town.
All of them? I really don't think so. Would you like me to go and see?
I don't think there is one. I can't smell anything burning.
Nothing at all. Not even a tiny little chimney fire. Something smouldering in the attic, perhaps, or in the cellar. Not a wee little beginning of a fire.
Oh, I so do hate to disappoint you, but I'm afraid you'll find nothing here for the moment. But I'll promise to let you know as soon as there is something.
Oh, please do that. You'd really be doing me a favour.
It's a promise.
And there's nothing burning at your place either.
No, unfortunately.
Business. Must be going rather badly at the moment.
Yes, very badly. There's hardly anything at all. A few piffling little jobs, a chimney or a barn fire. Nothing serious at all. And as production is on a standstill, the bonus on a high output is practically negligible.
Yes, business is bad at the moment. Commerce and agriculture aren't doing very well at all, just like the fire business.
No wheats and no fires?
Not even any floods.
But there is some sugar. But when it's sugar, it's difficult. They're too highly taxed.
Anyhow, there are luckily, though, this is pretty rare. 1 or 2 cases of asphyxiation by gas. Last week, for instance, a young girl asphyxiated herself. She'd left the gas on.
She'd forgotten it.
No, she thought it was her comb.
Mistakes like that are always very dangerous.
Have you gone to have a look at the matchmakers?
Nothing doing, he's insured against fires.
Why not try Darren's place?
He's not English, he's only naturalised. People who are naturalised have the right to own a house, but not to put them out when they start burning.
But then, last year, when they were burning, it was put out just the same.
He did it all by himself, on the quiet. But I'm not the one to go and denounce him. Neither am I.
As you're in no hurry, why don't you stay a little longer?
Would you like me to tell you some stories?
Stories! And what's especially interesting about a fireman's stories is they're always real-life ones.
Yes. I usually tell about the things I've experienced in life. Nature. Nothing but nature, you know. None of those books.
Do begin.
Do we get? Oh. I'm very sorry, but please don't all look at me. Oh, you know how shy I am.
Oh, what a charming man you are.
Still, I'll try to begin, but promise you won't Listen.
But if we don't listen, we can't hear you.
Oh, I'd never thought of that.
Oh, what a dear boy. Courage.
Very well then. The Dog and the Ox, an experimental fable. Once upon a time, another ox asked another dog, "Why haven't you swallowed your trunk?" "I beg your pardon," replied the dog. "I always thought I was an elephant."
What is the moral of that story?
It's for you to discover it.
He's perfectly right.
Tell us a different one.
A young calf had eaten too much ground glass. As a result, it had to be confined. It gave birth to another cow, but as the calf was a boy, the cow couldn't call him mother. It couldn't call him father either, as it wasn't big enough. So the calf was obliged to get married to a certain young person. And the registry office made all the arrangements, dictated by the current conventions.
Cornish conventions.
Blood pasties?
You know my story then?
Yes, it was all in the papers. Happened not far from where we live.
Very well, I'll tell you another one. The Cock. Once upon a time, a cock wanted to ape a dog. But everyone knew at once it was a cock.
Yes. But at the same time, the dog that wanted to ape a cock was taken for an ape.
Now, I'd like to tell you one too. The snake and the fox. One day, a snake went up to a fox and said to him, "I know you, give me money." A fox never gives away his money, the cunning animal replied, and leapt into a deep valley full of strawberry bushes and hen's honey. But the snake was already there waiting for him, planted himself in front of the fox and gave a Mephistophelian laugh. The fox then quickly extracted a knife from its bottom, uttered a peal of derisive laughter, and took to his heels. But the snake was too quick for him. With a big one-edged blow of the fist, struck the fox full in the forehead and thrust it to smithereens, crying as he did so, "No, no, 99 times no, I'm not your bit of flab."
That's interesting. Not bad at all. Allow me to congratulate you.
Not up to much, and then I'd heard it before.
It wasn't a true story, though.
Yes, but unfortunately it was.
Mrs. Smith, why don't you tell us one?
Oh, yes. Well, my wife has always been romantically minded.
She's a true blue English woman.
Well, yes, my wife has always been romantically minded.
She's a true blue English woman.
My wife has always been romantically minded.
She's a true blue English woman.
Wow. The bouquet. Once upon a time, a gentleman took his fiancée some flowers and she thanked him for them. But before she could thank him for them, he took the flowers back he'd just given her. As he took the flowers back, he walked off in two directions at once.
Charming.
Absolutely everyone, Mr. Smith, is jealous of you for having such a wife.
My wife is intelligence itself. She's even more intelligent than I am. Well, at least they say she's a lot more feminine.
Do tell us another one.
No, it's too late now.
Do it to please us.
I always say,
And then I am much too tired.
your heart is like an icicle. I implore you.
All right then.
Fantastic! He's going to bore us again.
The told. My brother-in-law on his father's side had a cousin whose maternal uncle had a father-in-law who was himself brother-in-law to the son of a lawyer who was a natural son to the country doctor, whose third wife...
I knew his third wife. She ate chicken at her beehive.
It wasn't the same one. As I was saying, whose third wife was the daughter of the best midwife in the district, who widowed early in her marriage.
Like my wife.
Had got married to a publican, a man full of spirit, who got by child the daughter of a station master. And this child learned how to play the game of life.
Bridge, for instance.
Railway bridge.
Yeah.
And got married to a costermongress, whose father had a brother, the mayor of a small town, who took for his wife a blonde school mistress, whose cousin a complete angler.
A complete wangler.
Who took for his wife another blonde school mistress, who's also called Mary, whose brother got married to another Mary, who's also a blonde school mistress.
Since she's a blonde schoolmistress, and when she's a blonde, she must be a Mary.
Whose father was brought up in Canada by an old lady who was the niece of a vicar who used to sometimes, in winter, just like everyone else, to catch a cold.
What an amazing story.
If you catch a cold, one ought to take out a mould.
It's a useless but absolutely vital precaution.
I beg your pardon, but I didn't quite get the point of your story. You kind of lose the thread at the end on the piece on the vicar's niece.
I never cease to lose the thread of anything, the vicar said.
Ah, yes, please begin again from the beginning. Everybody wants you to.
I really don't know if I can. I came on duty. It depends what the time is.
We can never really tell the time here at home.
But the clock...
Oh, it doesn't work properly. It's of a contrary turn of mind. It always strikes a contrary to the right time.
Sir, madam,
What is it?
Who gave you permission to come in here?
I beg your pardon, sir, madam, and the other ladies and gentlemen too. I would like to take my turn and tell you a story.
How dare she? Oh!
What do you mean by such a thing?
Oh, but it's not possible to you.
You too.
Impossible, here, in this house?
You two friends?
What on earth does all this mean?
Indeed, in a funny sort of way, I'm her spiritual son.
I'm so happy to see you again. At last, at last.
Oh! No! Not here! In our very own home! In the suburbs of London.
It's not respectable!
She was the first flame to put me out.
I'm just his favourite little ward spout.
If this is human, explicable, perfectly honourable.
Everything human is honourable.
I still would like to see her there, though.
She doesn't have
Does
the
she want
necessary
us?
education!
Oh, how bigoted you are!
Well, although it's no concern of ours, I think a maid is always a maid.
Even if she passes as a passable detective.
Let me get it then!
Don't upset yourself, we're not as bad as all that.
You're very somewhat touching, all of you, but a little...
That's it! That's the very word! There is a certain sense of British fundamental decency which is not very well understood, and sorry for putting my opinion bluntly, by foreigners!
I wanted to tell you something.
There's no telling here, Missy!
Oh, but yes!
Dear little Mary! Would you go and read your poetry out loud in front of the mirror?
I too read poetry when I'm looking at myself in the mirror.
But when you looked in the mirror this morning, you didn't see yourself, did you?
It's because I wasn't yet there!
Perhaps, all the same, I might be allowed to recite one little poem.
Oh, dear little Mary, you're incurably obstinate.
That's settled then. I'm reciting The Fire in honour of the captain. The Polyanders were glowworming in the wood. A stone caught fire. The palace caught fire. The forest caught fire. Men on fire. Women on fire. Eyes on fire. The blood caught fire. The sand caught fire. The birds caught fire. The moon caught fire. The fishes caught fire. The fire caught fire. 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 Caught fire.
That sent shivers down my spine.
Yet there's a certain sense of warmth in those lines.
I thought that was wonderful. It's so true. It's so just the way I think of myself. Just my own idea of life. My ideal way of life.
All the same.
You exaggerate.
Well, in 3/4 of an hour and 16 minutes exactly, I have a fire to attend to on the other side of London. I must hurry even though it's nothing to walk home about.
What's it going to be? A little chimney fire?
Not even that. A flash in a pan and a slight touch of heartburn.
We'll be very sorry to see you go, you know.
Yes. You've been so very interesting.
You are, yes.
By the way, what about the bold Prima Donna?
She always wears her hair the same way.
Goodbye, all.
Goodbye and good luck fire hunting!
Let's hope so, for everyone's sake.
You can buy a pocket knife for your grandfather, but you cannot buy Ireland for your brother.
One walks on one's feet, but one keeps warm with the aid of coal and electricity.
Sell a pig today, eat an egg tomorrow.
In life, you've got to look out of the window.
You can sit on the chair when the chair hasn't any.
One can always be in two places at once.
The ceiling is below us, and the floor is above us.
When I say yes, it's only a matter of speaking.
We all have our crosses to bear.
Describe a circle, stroke its back, and turn it vicious.
A schoolmaster teaches his children how to read. A cat feeds her little ones when they're small.
Yet the cow gives us some beefsteaks.
When I go to the country, I enjoy the peace and quiet.
You're not old enough to do that yet.
George Washington was right. You're not as truthful as he was.
What are the names of the 7 days of the week?
Lundi, mardi, mercredi, jeudi, vendredi, samedi, dimanche.
Je vais jouer au bacon, aux dettes nouvelles. Allez, ça!
What a funny family.
A marrow in the wheelbarrow is better than the pig in the lap.
A haddock in a paddock is better than a crab in a lap.
An Englishman's home is his castle! You can't polish your spectacles. We black boot polish!
Yes, but when you've got money, you can buy anything you want.
I'd rather slaughter a rabbit than whistle in the garden.
Piss! Piss! Pistol time! Pistol time! Pistol time! Pistol time!
Water pissing, water pissing, water pissing, water pissing, water pissing, water pissing, water...
Shower pitties! Shower pitties! Shower pitties!
Cock, foul, duck, cock, foul, duck, cock, cock, you're fouling us!
Please! The dog's enough, please!
Ow, stop grinding my teeth!
I'd rather steal an ox than lay an egg!
I'm off to my little hut with cocaine.
The cockatoos up again have pocket-eye costumes.
The mice have got lice! The lice haven't got mice!
Buster! Business! Bosnia!
Oh, snap her, flipper!
Don't slip her, Flipper!
Flip the slipper! Flip the flipper! Flip the flipper! The world's falling to pieces!
Alfred.
Tennyson. Arthur.
Sullivan.
Sullivan Alfred.
Tennyson Arthur. You gobble cacklers.
You cackled gobblers.
Krishna Wallet. Krishna Wallet. Krishna Wallet. Oh. Oh. Oh.
Do, re, mi, fa, sol, do.
So the cabbage to the oats to the barley to the wheat. Choo choo. Choo choo. Choo choo. Choo choo. Choo choo. It's not
That's
right. It's
way!
It's not that way. It's this way. Not that way.
This way! That way!
This way. Goodness, 9 o'clock. This evening for supper we had soup, fish, cold ham and mashed potatoes. And the children drank English water and we had good English beer to drink. Mashed potatoes are quite nice with cold ham. The mayonnaise was quite fresh. The mayonnaise from the grocer's round the corner is much fresher than the mayonnaise from the grocer's opposite. It's even fresher than the mayonnaise from the mountain, but that's not to say that mayonnaise is bad.